823.
Hello, hashtag First TV family, and welcome. Yes, I set it up and I said I was going to go straight into it, and I did. It's okay. It is okay. Topics this week: Big Spender. Subtitle: hashtag poor. Poorness. Coming from finance.yahoo.com. Hashtag VerseTV A23A. And hashtag kinda curated A23. And subtitle hashtag flirting. Coming from at tonight's conversation, Picards. And that's hashtag VerseTV A23B. And we will close out the show with hashtag underrated hype TV A23 Up From Your Life by James Taylor from his Hourglass album, released circa 1997. And we're getting this week's play of the song. It's in many places, but this week we're getting it from at MusicSkane.com. Actually, at MusicSkane is the YouTube page. And that's hashtag VerseTV A23C. And hashtag VerseTV family, welcome. I'm Aaron Mack. Yes. And thank you so very much for sticking with hashtag VerseTV through it all. Thank you. It is greatly appreciated. You are greatly appreciated. You. I'm looking at you. Here's looking at you, kid. Yes. Thank you so very much. And all of these topics are all coming up this week on hashtag VerseTV A23, week 271. 271 weeks that I've been with y'all. That y'all have been with me, that we have been together. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. And the random question, I have it right here. Okay. Well, sometimes these are cute and fun. Have you ever seen a ghost? Ghost. Have I ever seen a ghost? No, not to my knowledge. Wow, I guess I do have something to say on this. A couple of things, actually. One, they say that when cats look at the wall or something, like with a strange look on their face, and they're like, it's because allegedly they've seen a ghost. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Possibly, right? Anything is possible, just like with just about as much. Anyway, but anything is possible. When I see Muffin do stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I guess that I don't know though. Like maybe she thinks she's concentrating on something. Concentrating on something with an opportunity to pounce. Like as soon as I see that wall move, ooh, I'm gonna get you. Because cats are hunters. They are. And if they think they see something moving, ooh, you better watch out. You better not pout. Anyway, also, and this is not a seeing a ghost reference. I will say this. Oh my gosh. I let you all in on so much. Hashtag VerseTV. My maternal grandmother my maternal grandfather passed away after my mom. So, it's always tough when a parent buries a child. But what I will say is I I was very close to my grandfather, and but particularly after uh, stuff, right? Like mom passed away and everything. And I remember I was living in the first apartment that I lived in after he passed away, because before he passed away, he and I were roommates or housemates or whatever. And that's why I was able to be the one to walk in and find his body. Anyway, uh, as far as seeing a ghost, it wasn't a ghost or an apparition. It was in that first apartment that I moved to after he passed away in Laurel, my favorite city in the country. I'm pretty sure it is that, Laurel. And I remember one night I went to bed, as people do, but I had a dream. Ugh. Because when we were sharing the house, my granddad, very staunch Jehovah's Witness, very much, and he was cool with me and everything, like wow, I don't, that's a lot of tangents. But being a Jehovah's Witness, he stayed on the go, spreading the gospel. I think they call it the gospel as well. Spreading the good news, I think they say, actually. And getting his Awake and Watchtower magazines, and going. I don't know if he still would go door to door as much, but I know he's the one that started this. So when I see Jehovah's Witnesses doing this stuff, even up here, I'm like, wow, they got that from my granddad, because my granddad did it first. And it's not like it's not like it's something that is to have been copywritten or something, or trademarked or anything. But it's just so interesting to see that now that's just the thing that Jehovah's Witnesses do. They'll set up a stand somewhere and with like a bunch of the Watchtower magazines and Awake. And if you stop by or they catch you looking at it, they will engage you in conversation about it. And that's my granddad did that first. And he would always be on the go, going perhaps like to the more populated part of DC to do that very setup with his magazines and his briefcase and everything. And I actually would, I set up my work computer on the back porch. So when he would have to pass the back porch, I know this is a long story, and he would have to pass. Oh my gosh, yeah, he would have to pass the back porch going to the garage, and so that's something I would become accustomed to. Like I'd be at work, or he'd come up from the his outing while I'm at work and stuff like that. Anyway, I remember I had a dream. I had a dream, and in the dream, he was it. it was just like old times, and that I was at my work computer and he was coming up the porch and stuff like that. And I don't know if or why it happened more than once in the dream, but whatever. When I woke up from that dream, I was bawling, tears, bawling, tears. And I was like, the song, right? The song. So as far as seeing a ghost, I've had some interesting dreams. All right. And the song this week, extremely quickly, is 1986 Kisses in the Moonlight by George Benson from his album While the City Sleeps. And I remember this song in particular because my dad is a big George Benson fan, and he came up to Cleveland to visit me because at the end of 2021, I caught COVID, and COVID hit me very hard, very hard. I even had to be hospitalized. And anyway, it's actually kind of sobering to think about the fact that my uncle came over because I was very it was awful. And my uncle came over when I called, and I can't help but think that what he told my dad, as far as like, make sure you get here, is make sure you get here because this might be the last time you get a chance to see your son alive. That was very hard to think about. And like I said, COVID did a number on me. And anyway, as far as the song, and I'm really not going to get to all the other stuff at all, but as far as the song, as I've explained before, I love repeating songs, and I repeat them constantly when I like it. And I discovered through the magic of if it wasn't Google Music, it was actually Alexa, and suggesting it in my music playlist. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I really like this song. And then I fell in love with the song. And I would play it a whole lot. And he was like, yeah, I like George Benson. And he's like, yeah, I actually like this song too. And I played it so much while he was here. He was like, he got to the point that was like, okay, Aaron, huh. I think we've heard it enough times now. I love my family so much because we're all very similar. And being polite, he was like, do we have any other music that we can hear on Alexa or something? And I was like, okay, Dad, I get it. Anyway, all right. Like, share, subscribe, share again, and don't forget to click like. Thank you. Okay. And
Big Spender. Subtitle hashtag poorness. Finance.yahoo.com hashtag VerseTV 823A. Vishesh Raising Hani, Phi, July 12, 2024, 6:43 a.m. Men read 554. All that glitters is not gold. According to Dave Ramsey, this is also true for personal finances. Very few people who look like they have money actually do, said the financial guru on an episode of The Ramsey Show. The huge car, expensive car, the vastly expensive vacation on Instagram, the vastly expensive fill in the blank are very seldom actual indicators of wealth. Don't miss. Commercial real estate has beaten the stock market for 25 years, but only the super rich could buy in. Here's how even ordinary investors can become the landlord of Walmart, Whole Foods, or Kroger. Cost of living in America is still out of control. Use these three real assets to protect your wealth today, no matter what the U.S. Fed does or says. These 5 magic money moves will boost you up America's net worth ladder in 2024, and you can complete each step within minutes. Here's how. An effort to keep up appearances has, in fact, pushed many Americans into debt. Money dysmorphia. The rise of social media has created a steady stream of conspicuous consumption. It's now easier than ever to see the cars, houses, and vacations your friends and families are indulging in, and that's having an impact on the way many Americans view their own wealth and finances. A significant 29% of American adults surveyed by Qualtrics for Intuit Credit Karma said they experienced money dysmorphia, a term financial advisors have coined to describe a feeling of insecurity when it comes to your financial well-being, even if you're not actually faring as poorly as you believe. This psychological disconnect between perception and reality is wider for younger Americans, with 62% of Gen Z Americans surveyed by LendingTree saying they feel financial pressure to keep up with someone within their circle, such as a family member or friend. That survey also found that 51% of respondents admitted to overspending to impress others. Amongst this cohort, 56% are now in debt because of this overspending. Borrowing money to splurge on items only to impress others could trigger unsustainable lifestyle inflation. Once you've stretched your budget to buy that fancy car or... Article continues below.
Okay, so I don't care what people think about me. Kinda, or so I thought. And yes, I've experienced many people looking down on me and talking down to me. And that's particularly since I've started using this current point that I currently use a walker. I intend to work myself out of it. And that's what I didn't get into the topic before, but absolutely. I'm not going to stay in this. I'm going to be free walking. Yes, just like I used to be. I'm not crazy. I'm putting in the work. Anyway, but yes, people do that to me. But I have to wonder, as far as keeping up appearances and stuff like that, I wonder if part of the reason that I notice people particularly look, actually, as I'm saying it, I realize there's more to it, or it's something else, but notice is something additional, because I notice people looking down upon me and all of that stuff. And I wonder, is that because perhaps before I reach this section of my life where I currently use a walker, if I was one of those people who would not look down on, because I don't look down on people. I never did that. Like that wasn't my thing. Well, but gave perhaps too much attention to, or an uncomfortable amount of attention to somebody who's different, when maybe I should have just minded my own business. I don't know. What it does remind me of is years ago, a friend of mine, former roommate of mine, he was a roommate, housemate, and we were very young when we were in our early well, I was 24, I think he was 25, and our other roommate was 26. but would put in his profiles, dating profile, because we were all gay, right? And I thought that was so cute. But he would put in his dating profiles that he's only 25, or he would say 24, because he was like, I I'm too young. I feel too young to be so old, as I can't call myself 26. I'm not an old man. I don't want people to think that I'm an old man. So I'm going to call myself 24 on my profile because I'm just that fabulous. Anyway, but and talking with him, I remember one time he said something and he just said it so naturally. And he was like, yeah, because I bet what he does when he goes home and sits at the dinner table is he talks badly about me and talks badly about people, because that's what people do. And I remember I said to him, I was like, it's interesting that you think that, because that's not what everybody does. Not everybody goes home and sits around the dinner table. One, not everybody sits around the dinner table, period. But my mom and I wouldn't, but we would share our day with each other and talk about a lot of stuff. Anyway, but they're certainly not sitting around the table talking about people. And I asked him, I don't know if I asked him or what. I was like, so why do you think that why do you think that everybody goes home, sits around the dinner table and talks about people? That's not what everybody does. And he was like, oh, huh. Well, that's what my family did when I was a kid. He was a very privileged upper middle class kid. And he was like, yeah, and I'm not saying that to say that all upper middle class families talk badly about the neighbors and the lowers at the dinner table. I'm just saying that's what he said his family would do. And I was like, so maybe that's why you think that everybody else does this thing. And he was like, I never thought of it that way. So as far as people looking down on me and my walker and stuff, sometimes I wonder about that. As far as keeping up appearances, an ex of mine turned friend actually turned me on to the BBC show, Keeping Up Appearances with Hyacinth. It's a great show. I like it very much. And yeah, keeping up appearances is a thing. And as Dave Ramsey was saying in the article, that's something a lot of people get caught in. And I was talking with another friend of mine this weekend over a meal about it. And he was like, yeah, well, like celebrities and rappers, people always throw rappers under the bus. And actually he did not, but people do generally throw rappers under the bus. He was like, celebrities and their expensive attire and things that they wear and all that stuff, like it makes people think that that's the goal in life. And what I said is, I'm like, a lot of those celebrities who do that, and I heard this years ago, Ronnie DeVoe, actually from New Edition, was saying like there are so many artists out there who are famous but can't rub two nickels together. So it's not that riches come with being famous. Their face is just out there for whatever it's worth, much less now, but they don't have two nickels to rub together. Anyway, in the article, Dave Ramsey mentioned how true wealth comes in things like being able to choose where you live in the neighborhood that you want, in which you want to live, and do so comfortably, not struggling, but doing so comfortably, living in the neighborhood in which you desire and doing so comfortably. That's a sign of true wealth. And him talking about wealthy people don't dress generally or always in the most expensive, flashy attire and such. I wonder if there's a possibility that that would lead the going way of thinking for the population to no longer aspire to look wealthy and spending a lot of money on things that they can't afford instead of putting money investing in money, investing. So it's like I wondered while I was writing this if that could possibly be the change that's gonna happen. And it get to the point that it's like, oh, you look wealthy, which means you look poor and you're trying too hard. Thank you. You know? But then I thought about it some more and I was like, if our society gets to the point that we don't value spending money, loads of money on things, that would end up taking money out of the pockets of the wealthy few in the world. And it's like, I'm sure they would do whatever they need to do to make sure that that's not what happens. And what made me think of it is I was thinking about how I didn't realize red bottom shoes are actually Louboutin shoes. And there are people who spend thousands of dollars on footwear, if not tens of thousands of dollars, and take out financing to get such things. And it's like, wow, we are really far down the path of ridiculousness. And it's like, but the wealthy few, are laughing all the way to the broker at us. Ching ching. I don't have time to talk about that. Okay. We and I should not and I sometimes do care about what other people think, but we should just be whomever we are. Just be us. And I think that's what this article, no, that's not what this article is saying, but I think that's a good thing to get from this article. We need to just be who we are. Dot at the end of that sentence. Like, share, subscribe, share again, and don't forget to click like. Thank you.
Hashtag kinda curated A23, subtitle hashtag flirting at tonight's conversation, hashtag verse TV A23B. Do you consider flirting while in a relationship cheating? Why or why not?
I hope my answer doesn't come back to bite me in the behind, but I don't think it's cheating. I don't. I question what is flirting, and is flirting like just being polite with somebody, because being polite and smiling, because I'm half Southern. I am. I spent the first part of my childhood in New York. I spent the second part of my childhood in New Orleans. And we are nice and polite. So if you interpret that as flirting, I'm sorry for you. I try to just be nice to everyone. Life is hard, y'all. So, mm, oh, Melissa Morgan, Melissa Morgan song. What change have you made lately? Oh, I love that song. That's a great song. And did you help somebody today? Did you make somebody smile today? Not in an attempt at romance, but just in a friendly sort of way. Okay? And lately, something that's been in the news a lot is the Michael Ealy, like grabbing and picking up and hugging and like, oh, not Melissa Morgan, Megan Good, right in front of her husband, Jonathan Majors. And what's Megan Good actually commented on this in a post. And she's like, the world can make so much out of nothing, because TMZ took that clip of Michael Ealy picking me up and hugging me closely in front of my husband. My husband. Yes, husband. But took that clip of all of that in front of my husband after cutting out the fact that Michael Ealy gave my husband, Jonathan Majors, a hug as well before me. So, yeah, people make a lot out of nothing. It's like, oh my, and there are so many people on social media and such talking about, oh, I wouldn't let somebody, another man, pick up my girl, because of course she's a girl, not a woman, but a girl. Because I think that's a little more misogyny, but we'll keep that between you and me. Anyway, let me stop. But I wouldn't let some man pick up my woman, and they'd say girl, but not in front of me. That ain't happening. And it's like, yeah, as far as TMZ cutting off the part where Michael Ealy also hugged Jonathan Majors first. And if you really want to be a thing, if you really want to be that, the word is not heteronormative, but that traditional of a person, the fact that he actually hugged Jonathan Majors first in a brotherly hug is like, and the woman was second. So it's like that agrees with everything that you think as a closed-minded traditionalist heterosexual male. Anyway, I know I say a lot. I do. And okay. But yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words. A video is worth a million. Um, Better statement. A well-edited video is worth a billion. So TMZ won that round because they didn't even tell the full story, and it just got a lot of people in the news. and a lot of people talking. Okay. I don't think it killed them, though. I think they. Oh, I didn't talk about that. So I guess I won't. Yes. I remember YouTuber, and I saw this recently. YouTuber was talking about the whole situation, and he was like, yeah, and people complain about the fact that Michael Ealy grabbed Megan Good for such a tight hug right in front of her husband. And one thing that he mentioned that I was like, and that's a point, because he's like, Michael Ealy is handsome. Michael Ealy is handsome. Yes. Yes. And he's like, Michael Ealy is handsome. And it reminds me, and he's like, that's part of the reason why dudes are making such a big deal about it and presuming him to be so guilty for doing this wrong thing with Megan Good. And we have nothing to be guilty of. I love that song, Barbara Streisand, Andy Gibb. Anyway, but yes, doing this wrong thing with Megan Good. And that's, I remember in my general social psychology class, them explaining the fact that, yes, people being more attractive are more likely to get away with hard crime, but people being more attractive are more likely to be considered guilty, even if they didn't do it when it comes to love crimes. That's an interesting thing. And yes, Michael Ealy, being the beautiful man that he is presumed to be so guilty of doing this horrible thing. And because he's beautiful. Oh, well. I remember an associate. Gotta love those. There's levels to this. Anyway, an associate of mine spoke about how he's like, I miss the days when, doing that. And he's younger than me. But he's like, I miss the days when, like, a hetero man could be friends with a gay man and that not be a problem. It's like, okay. And he's like, I remember I had a hetero best friend. He's gay. I remember I had a hetero best friend, and when he would see me, like we'd be all happy, and he'd grab me, pick me up, and spin me around and all of that. And he's like, I miss those days. All of that to say, that hetero guy was not doing that because he wanted some. He was doing that because sometimes that's what people do. I, yeah, okay. And I will say, for whatever reason, on the occasions with which I have read information on the personality of a Gemini, of which I am, it often mentions Geminis are flirty. And I never understood why. I guess it's just because we're nice and we're super cool, but I don't know. Yeah. I remember one time I was out with one of my former boyfriends turned friend, turned actual friend. And we were at the Macaroni Grill. I used to love the Macaroni Grill. I've got to go there again, I think. But we were at the Macaroni Grill in Columbia, Maryland. And I remember my boyfriend turned friend. He was like, Aaron, do you see that waiter? He is flirting with you right in my face. Like he doesn't know that we're together. He is just flirting with you. And I was like, I don't notice such things, which is true. The only person I noticed flirt with me was an older man on the bus. I love me some older men. I do. I'm not in a relationship with an older man, though. My love is actually five, 5 days, 4 months, 4 younger than me. Anyway, whatever. But I don't know. I just try to be nice to people. You know, if that's considered flirting, then fine. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done, it's all about trust. I'm all about trust. We've got to trust. And yes, I'm a nice dude. I am. And I'm only coming home to one. Just one. And I'm coming home to you, baby. Yes, okay. Anyway, I'm coming home to you. Only you. All right. Like, like, share, subscribe, share again, and don't forget to click like. See, they say it's good to get both hands active to keep one from getting worn out more than the other. So, thank you.
Hashtag underrated hype TV A23 Up From Your Life. James Taylor, Hourglass, circa 1997 at Music Skane. Hashtag First TV A23C.
All right. As soon as the anyway. Just a Precious Little. I love that song. I will be honest, I cannot say that I have loved that song for years. That was actually well, I guess possibly years, but years as in a couple of years ago. Alexa or Google recommended that song to me based on my music taste. And I instantly fell in love with it. And actually, as in, I fell in love with it by listening to his Hourglass album, which I do also love. Anyway, I am a James Taylor fan, and I actually met him once, once at my chiropractor. And I don't know why I was so I for whatever reason I didn't connect that I know him because my chiropractor, like I was in the bench on the bench thing, and James Taylor was sitting on the chair, like right next to the bench, and my chiropractor was like, James Taylor, this is James Taylor. And I was like, oh, hi, sir. Yes. Okay. He's like, James Taylor. He's like, you don't know him? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. And James Taylor was so cool because he was just like, it's cool, you know? And I'm sure he doesn't need people constantly being like, oh my gosh, it's James Taylor. But when I realized, oh, the James the James Taylor who sings some of my favorite songs ever, such as Never Die Young and Every Day and such stuff like that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love James Taylor. And then thinking back to how I met him and how cool he was, I became a super fan. I did. And the lyrics of that song, Up From Your Life, are so deep. I love it. And before I was able to fully delve into the beautiful lyrics of the song and started to get a piece here and there, I was like, oh, is he saying that he's an atheist or what? Similar to a member of my family who I love, who is a self-proclaimed atheist. But he doesn't, the song he's talking to an atheist or perhaps an agnostic, but maybe an actual atheist. And he's talking to them, encouraging them to look up. And I look up a lot when I record on a sunny day, but it's dark out right now. But look up from your life. And I also, he starts off the song with so much for your moment of prayer. That was a moment. Wow, just that quickly, I forgot. But he starts off with so much for your moment of prayer, talking about, oh, yes, so much for your moment of prayer. God's not at home. There is no there. And it's like, yeah, and I think about my family member who is an atheist and how he, I guess, like George Carlin, tried really hard, but does not believe. Aaron does believe. Yes, I do. I'm a believer, and a believer. No, I'm not. I'm kidding. But respect to Justin Bieber, right? But he talks about how the person tried, so much for your moment of prayer and tried and was disappointed. And I like how in the song, he does not damn this person to hell as many would do. He encouraged instead. I don't know why that was about to make me cry, but I guess I'm just always filled with emotion. But instead, he encourages the person to look up from your life, because you can get caught in the minutia of things or the little troubles here or there. Look up. It can be hard. I remember, I have enough time, real quick. A dude that I dated, and he was bi, to the extent that he was bi, and he said that I was his last attempt at being romantic for both men and women, as well as sexual for both men and women. But he said I was his last chance at trying to be romantic for both men and women, because I was encouraging him to look up from his life. He's one of my college friends, and I pushed it so hard that I actually was his last. He's like, you know what? I'll F them boys, but I only want romance from a woman. It's like, wow. Anyway. Yeah. Even in the middle of the sadness, there's a reason. Even in the middle of your sadness, when it seems there's no reason, there is a reason. And then he bells, look up from your life. Look up. And I remember my former pastor, she said that she's not a fan of people saying, well, everything happens for a reason. She said, no, what she prefers is God can make reason out of anything. And I like that too. All right. Self affirmation time. Okay. Positive affirmations for self. Yes. Aaron, you are a wonderful winner. Yes. Aaron, you are a beautiful catch. Yes. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful catch. You are intelligent and practical. Yes. You are working at growing stronger, and you're headed in the right direction. Keep it up, kid. You are determined in life. Aaron, I love you. You are worthy of all the wonderful. Yes, you are. Talk to you later. Hashtag Verse TV family. Peace. Hashtag VerseTV.com. Stay blessed. All right.